There we go. I'm recording. I had to put a note up there to make sure I would hit record. So this is their social media accounts. I have looked at all of them except TikTok. TikTok's up in the, a lot of things are going on with TikTok right now. And so I just left that one alone. You know, until things are clarified, I'm not going to mess with TikTok. I don't even know how to do a TikTok. I know my daughter and some of the younger ones know how to do that, but I do go on to the Mvskoke Creek Facebook, the Instagram. They have me doing word of the day to help get words out there. And I'm trying to get words out there that are not used very often, because if you think about some of the other programs, they put march, they put flowers, they put, you know, almost the same things. And if we've already learned it in one area, I don't want to continue that. So I'm trying to do things a little differently. And, you know, trying to help us to learn and reach out and, you know, just expand our knowledge. And one of the ways that I've learned to expand my ways is through the singing. So we will, and I know I've done this in one of the other classes, is we will look at some of the songs for Baby Noja. I know that, like I said, we've gone through this before, and okay, now everything decided doesn't want to work. That's this whole day. We were trying to get some things loaded, and then we had to uninstall something, reinstall it, and you know how that goes. You have everything set up, and then for some reason, things don't want to work right. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on here. Share screen. All right, here we go. Okay, it has me drawing something. Okay, that's it. I must have hit something wrong. So there you see our social media. Here's also the other side, flip side to the card. And here's the main number. If you guys have any questions, call the number. It's usually Miss Coco that picks up. But if not, anybody who picks up will help you on that one. All right. And let's see. So right here, this is my work Facebook page, Hopti Jati. I'm not accepting any friend requests because this is just a work Facebook. So for those of you who do not have a Facebook, you have to get a Facebook account to actually see our social media that they've created. They've got several different ones on here. So let me go ahead and start this again. Like I said, I know we've gone through this, but you know, this is a fun day. We're just exploring what's already out there, what all a lot of Mvhayvs have already produced. And sometimes those of us who are not really tech savvy or social media savvy, you don't know this is out there. So I'm just sharing this with you. And sometimes, you know, there's things out there that you will learn. All right, go ahead.
Alvin Deer, a poesy on Nayadi. This is a story from Alvin Deer's grandmother. Istuji in Yahegada, Yahe Ogadi. This is the history of the song Baby Noja. Mvskoke, Dimithka, Mini Awadi, Sulitawalki, Mvskoke, Udi, Nethi, Adiho Hidon. During the Trail of Tears, soldiers would gather the Mvskoke people into a pen at night. Mihojak, Istojak, Hage Hogi, Duidis. Sulitawalki, Ufkidalani, Akobanaka. The soldiers would play a bugle horn, and when they would do this, it would make the babies cry. Oktagi, Istojak, Sajakayan, Inyahega Gadis. The women would sing to the tune of the bugle. Baby Noja, Manyahekta, Kalije Jadis, Mojanita, Yahevogi, Mongados. Baby Noja was created during the Trail of Tears and is still sung today. Mojanita, Baby Noja, Yahega Gitos. These are the lyrics to Baby Nojin. Yahegada, Chamilege, Ojiduis. There are different ways to sing.
Baby, Nojabasti, Puja, Lojahobogan, Ayanat, Talagi Kodos, baby, Nojabasti, baby, Nojabasti.
All right. So now we've got a little bit of history to that song. And like I said, this is on the Creek Panaga Facebook. And they've got a lot of good videos on there. And I wanted to share with you the one that I learned before I heard that version. And this one, from what I understand, it was in 1943 or 47 that student named Margaret was at Haskell Indian School, and it's in the Library of Congress. I did have the Mvhayvs look over the words, and it's not how they would spell things now, like baby is istoji. And this one has B-A-E-E. So you can see how our language has changed and changes just like any other language. Because if you look at Old English or you hear Old English, they don't speak like that anymore. You know, even in England, they progressed in their language. So this might just be an older version. It might be a regional version. It just had her name as Margaret, a Creek woman singing. So we don't know a lot of her background, but I wanted to share this with you. And this is another version of what we just heard. All right, so like the Facebook said, there are different versions. This is another version. I liked it because I started singing this last year when I found it online. And like you, sometimes I go out and I try to find new things that somebody's put out there for our Mvskoke language. And this is what I found. And like I said, this is in the Library of Congress. They had it all spelled differently. This one I had seen on somebody's Facebook page, and it says exactly what she's singing. The Library of Congress, more or less, theirs does it phonetically, and it really doesn't make sense. So I thought I'd share this with you. I was able to, sometimes I'm walking around and I'll sing this, and it just keeps your mind thinking about Mvskoke, keeps your mouth thinking about Mvskoke. So this is one of my favorites. I sing this to my grandbaby, and she actually sings it with me. So that was pretty cool. All right. Like I said, this is just going to be a free day. We're just going to do a lot of different things today. I wanted to share with you the different places that the Mvskoke language program has their media, the Facebook, the Instagram, the YouTube, and now you guys have access to our Google Drives. So whenever you guys want to go back and refresh, you guys can have all of these references and all of these places to look at. And what we're going over is nothing really in particular. It's just things that people asked me, you know, around this time. They had questions. So I know right now there's a lot of wild onions going on, or a lot of wild onion dinners, at least here in Oklahoma. So I thought I'd pick out this one and share that with you.
Lucina, stop me. Ahajiti Sakmoski, fried potatoes. Duck leg Sakmoski, fried bread. Cheddahaga, blue bread. Dolozi Sakpologi, chicken and dumplings. Basko Sakpologi, grape dumplings. Sukhabiswa, fried pig meat. Ahajamba, sweet potatoes. Duck leg gamoksi, sour cornbread. Ostofki, corn drink.
All right, does anybody have any questions on that? Do they have any comments or anything they want to add? Like I said, right now, wild onions is at a lot of our churches. So I thought I'd share with you the terms that you hear from these places. I'm trying to scroll down and find the video. Let's see. Like I said, this is what's on our Facebook page. So these are all references and resources you can get to if you have a Facebook account. I tried it without the Facebook account. It wouldn't let me in. That's why I had to make a work Facebook account. All right. Somebody also asked about a child's prayer. So I put this on here and you see what date that it's from. It's from 2020 or yeah, 2020. But let me go ahead and play this for you.
Mego Sabaya, Isar,
Here we go.
Uguidaguji, Emigo Sabka. No Johanna, Endaga, Wakayof, Mego Sabaya, Isagada Missi, Amboya Ficture. Amajayijas, a Jahonaji Gomongin, Jalibat, Mego Sabaya, Isagidamisi, Amboya Ficture, Sayibas, Amen.
All right, and little things and even little snippets like that will give you the pronunciation because these are the first speakers who are speaking. And sometimes you can catch like Hasagadamasi, you know some of these words, and it helps you to learn other words. Okay, I don't know how I got off my page here. These things are so touchy. Oh, this is what I was
Mvhayv,
okay.
Before you go further, Amy, do you see the word? Hisaganamisi? Do you see the word? She called me early this morning and was asking me questions, and she wanted to know, praise the Lord. And I told her, Hisaganamisi agasamga.
All right. And then one of the things I've learned was Poya Fictum, your spirit.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was so beautiful that I could say it in Mvskoke and just feel that, you know, and just like, you know, those of us who are learning, sometimes I wake up in the morning and I don't know what to say because I don't know the Mvskoke words yet. That's it, yet. But I just thought, and then I just my thoughts because, you know, he or she, you know, the creator understands we're trying and I'm trying to speak it and, you know, Amy's trying to speak it, but we don't have the words yet. And so when you come to cross some of these things and you see it, like you said, you get so excited because you're like, there it is. And then you can, there it is. So that's why, you know, I wanted to share this stuff because this stuff is out there. Like I said, they are making a website to put all this stuff together, but until then, it's kind of here, there, and everywhere. And I had to sit there and figure out and find all of this stuff so I could share it with you guys.
Mvhayv, can I add some?
Go ahead.
So the word Poyafikcha I came across not that long ago, and I found it interesting because I'm always, you know, into the etymology. And
Right.
Poyida to me means like to finish or be done with, and Figi is your heart. So it's kind of saying what's left over after your life is gone, you know?
Mhm.
I don't know if any fluent speaker could elaborate, but that's what it looks like. I'm not sure, but it seems to may be made up of poyida and figi.
Right. Oh, that makes sense. Sometimes we ask questions and there's not a definite answer because that's just how it's always been. So, but that makes sense. That makes sense. Somebody asked me to say Poya Ficcha again. So. All right.
Mahaya Duchinen, all of you. Could one of you spell, please, Mano, that word?
Poya Ficcha or Hasagan?
Boyaficha.
Let's see.
I'll put it in the chat.
All right. 'Cause
Mado.
I know how to say it. I'm not quite sure how to.
Thanks, Randy.
On the fly. I'm still learning, but no. All right. So as you see right here on YouTube, they have a video about wild onions. There you go, Randy. You put it in the chat. You see about wild onions. We are not going to watch the whole thing because as you see, it's 45 minutes. But I want you to know that there are YouTubes out there that the April said Mado that are out there to help you understand and know a little bit more about our culture. Amy, do you have a question? No, okay. But see, these are out there, and like I said, we are trying. They are making a website to put all of this stuff on there. All right, Anthony says Mado. All right, let's go. And we've already done the food. And let's see. And here's okay.
Go sit.
Part to complete or finish. Right. I know I've got a saying is speak. Let's see, hold on. Speak, which is supposed to be inner peace. I have that over my desk. And so, like Figi, heart, inner peace. Here's another prayer I wanted to, like I said, I have people ask me questions all the time about some things. And these are some of the things that people have asked me about. So I thought I'd sit there and take the time to share these with you because you do see right here our God from Hasaga to Masih. So you see how to spell it. And that for me helps me because sometimes saying a prayer helps me remember as well. So let me go ahead and play this for you.
Mvskoke, prayer.
There we go.
This prayer is for starting a meeting. One Hasaga Masih, Uthki Howi Legichka. Mojaneta Nagi Allergy Jigo Munget. Jimmy Don Iji Takwijis. Ibo Manejas Nagi Istomit. Folahania Athaka. Jipoji Jesus Ujifka Ofa. Jimbohibis. Amen.
So if you see how they did the word Jesus, it starts with a C, CESBS. So I thought that was interesting that you hear Mahaya Barnett say they made it Mvskoke.
So please don't even think. What do you think?
All right, sorry. But they made it Mvskoke. So I thought that was pretty cool how they just created a word for something that wasn't originally our word. And you see, like she was talking about Mary is changed to Mealy. Because they don't have these words in Mvskoke, so they say Mealy. I was also taught that for a little girl, you usually say Tava, in place of their name, Tava, feather, Tava. So TAFV, Tava. And that was something you can come across in some of the literature where they have Nava. And that, just talking about little girl. Okay, and then here you can see, this is Mvhayv Barnett. And the Lord's Prayer. Somebody was also asking me about the Lord's Prayer, so I thought I'd share that with you as well.
Mvskoke halwe legisgal. Chihujivka ajagigas. Chimugmikidet alagigas. Mema halwe nagi omitski nomad. Ida moment yama igana omumigas. Nitta afaka talegen mojanita polis. Moment omahuika. Ispon wegas. Ahuika isim wegadiad ida moment. Nagi onayu kibechi dai istikiden. Sibo hafitskas. Momes holwagan. Esbosezes. Ogmikidet. Yikchidet. Moment fakidet. Chinagi. Imungad. Omiga. Amen.
All right, so like I said, I wanted to share these things with you. So you'd see that they were out there, and not only that is, you can hear the speakers speaking. So if you want to go back later, you have that opportunity to repeat after the speakers and hold the enunciations just like they do. So that helps me to, I go through these and I learn through these as well. And we have, I know, some veterans out there, so I put this one in there.
Oh my.
Mvhayv,
Yes. Go ahead.
I was going to say, before you go to that one, to the next one, I wanted to, share with you that years ago, I wanted to learn how to say the Lord's Prayer in our language. And again, the language is changed. I can see and read what was written here, and it was easier than what it was before. I'm talking like 2000, maybe 5 or 6. I was learning to read it, and it was in that old Creek, one of the old Creek Bibles, and it was difficult to try to read it because it. But this one, he said it's changed, and as she was reading it, I could follow along, and it made more say them because Magda. I couldn't get that in my mind for anything when I was doing it the first time, but this time it was easier to see it and read it. Thank you. Mado.
Good. I know she'd love to hear that. There's a lot of things, like I said, that are out there, but you have to, they're not organized, and we're trying to organize it. So you could look up Lord's Prayer. From what I understand, these little dots right here, see if you can see, okay, right there, you can hit those dots, you hit search. You can type in here, Lord's Prayer, and it should pull it up from all the videos on the Creek Okanagan. I just learned that this week, so that was really helpful to me. Things changed, and I just wanted to share some of this stuff so you guys can go through and what do you call it? Surf. What is it? Internet surf on the pages, and you guys can find some of these stuff that they've done years ago. I think 2018, I remember seeing something from there that you might be looking for. All right,
Mvhayv.
Ella.
Mvhayv. I too got discouraged at times with reading the old form of the Bible, because that was one of my goals, was to read the Bible. And so I want to, say that too, that it's, I was told there was more than one version of it, that one was easier than another. Right. But that's my personal goal on that, is to read that. But I just wanted to affirm what she was saying, that this is a great translation. So thank you very much.
This is a collaboration of all, you see this one's from 2018, from all the Mvhayvs that are here and those who have worked here and have gone to a different job. This is just a collaboration of, I guess, the meeting of the minds, if you want to say. But I've also seen some of the like the early readers that you get from the stores, the early Creek readers. I tried to sit there and read it, and I thought, since this is what first grade, second grade, I thought it'd be easy. But they do things different, like Miss Ella and Miss Amy was talking about. They spell things differently. And even in that Creek book for grammar that I showed you guys and Amy bought, it's different. So you kind of just have to all put it together, because they had a lot of I's in there, and I'm like, that shouldn't be there, but I think they were meaning an E or something else. But you just kind of have to like swim your way to the answer. And you know, the Mvhayvs here have made it so easy, and you can look at it and you can sound it out just the way that they've fashioned everything. And one of the other things that we were talking about. Oh, go ahead.
Years ago, one of the teaching reading styles was to read phonetically. And so, and that was like the early 60s, 50s and 60s, you know, when they did something like that. And so I have learned to read phonetically. And so when we were getting a little more into some of the songs that we were singing, that's why I learned to sing, you know, the Creek Hallelujah. I learned to sing it phonetically, not written the way it's supposed to be written, you know, the proper way. I mean, and so, so reading things phonetically for me, even though you were saying it didn't make any sense to you, it does to me, because that's the way I was taught to read, you know, when I was in first and second grade, you know, third grade.
Well,
So
that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mado, for explaining that. When you guys, you know, say things and, you know, have input that helps us to understand and realize, oh, okay, that makes sense. It was phonetically. I know one of the singers who was teaching gospel singing in Mvskoke Creek, he wrote it out phonetically. And I think that's probably how he learned. But for those of us who are trying to actually learn how to spell and read Mvskoke, it's kind of confusing until somebody, you know, says, okay, it's phonetically. Then we know, okay, phonetically. But like I said, I do little tests and I do little games with myself to try to keep my mind and my brain in the Mvskoke mindset. And you see here, you know, I was talking about, you know, you can stop at the stop sign and you can sound it out, you know, with the Mvskoke sounds. C, D, O, P for stop sign. This, I found this today and I was like, oh my gosh, there's, you know, actual words that you can be saying when you do this. And this will keep you in the Mvskoke language. Oh, I guess I should hit play here. There we go.
Aida Hamgosi. One way. Fikhonas. Stop. Nini Sigon. Bedding. Aji Ibot. Do not enter. Mihagit. Yield. Miklika. Idi Willapida. Railroad crossing. Yes. Go. Yagabigot. Don't walk. Yagabas. Walk. Inputta. Caution. Kaskanafacha. Fake Kasigon. No left turn. Kabithafacha. Fake Kasigon. No right turn. Is full of Kida Sigon. No U-turn. That lazy that Sigon. No parking. That lazy that parking. Jadi Viconas red stop. Lani Mihaget yellow. Caution away. Bahilani only. Ayas green go.
All right, so even if you just pick up one word and just say it throughout the day when you're driving, that's one word extra that you're learning. And I know that's a lot. You know, just pick out a couple of words. If you don't see, if you don't see one of these signs like a yield sign, you're not going to remember that. But if you pass a yield sign every day, learn that word, because that keeps your mind thinking Mvskoke. So, like I said, these are just little games that I play for myself. Go ahead.
Mahaya,
Go ahead.
I was going to say, long time ago when we didn't have signal lights like that, and I remember when they finally started coming in, my grandma said, Lani dostie abiyahanis. Yeah, and she used to say that, or Jadi don't ga fik for na handois magido much. And and so it was interesting when you said that, when you showed that, because it brings up all kinds of memories that I have of learning, colors, because I didn't know that red was Jadi when I went to school, and lusty is black. I didn't know that. I had to figure it out. And how do I say it now when I would know the color in Jadi, but to try to say it in English, I had to think about it. And I think, okay, what's the word for Jadi? And it was really, really difficult for me because I was trying to think in two languages.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, one thing that I, like you said, I try to play games with myself. One of the things that made me laugh the other day is today this Lord's Prayer in Mvskoke Bible I read, words are in it. Okay. Just like you can say the same thing in different words in English, you can say the same thing, different words in Mvskoke. So things may not be, like in the Bible, things may not be translated the way you understood it, the way you learned, a different way to read it. That's the differences in our literature, especially, and sometimes, like Miss Ella said, it's phonetically, and unless it's it's phonetically, you think it's Mvskoke. But yeah, the Bible, I'm pretty sure that there's different translations. I've heard speakers say the same thing, but different words. And whoever translated the Bible spoke this way, well, you can speak that way and this way. So, as long as you know what they're saying, that's what we're trying to get to. As long as we can communicate, we're doing good. But like I was earlier today, I was talking to my daughter, and we were standing in line, and we're big goofballs anyway. And I said something about there was three of them, three something left. And she goes, oh, well, say it in, I think she said, say it in Mvskoke. So it was like, Hamgen, Hokol, and Dochinin. And then she said, okay, well, say it in French. Deux, trois. So it made me excited that I knew more than just English. I knew a little bit of French. I knew Mvskoke. I'm learning Mvskoke. And it's funny, once these words get stuck in your mind, they're going to be stuck forever. I haven't spoken French in a long time, but I can still speak some. So, all of these little things that you're doing to keep, Mvskoke in your mind, you're going to realize that your mind, still has it. It's just you need to use it. Sometimes you can hear it in your mind, but your mouth is not used to using that. And right here, I'm not going to go through this one, but you can see that Mahaya Barnett from March of this 2023, she's got the how to use 1 and 2 people words. So that's out there. And I like the fact that it's maybe a minute and 15 seconds or so of learning. You don't have to have a whole hour. You don't have to have 30 minutes, you can have less than 5 minutes and you learn some of this stuff. Look at some of this stuff, keep it in your mind and just practice it that day. And like I said, your mind is awesome. Everybody's mind is awesome and it remembers things. And like Miss Ella said, sometimes some of these words kick back a memory. So sometimes the memory kicks back words. Oh, I remember the word for that. Well, right now we've got this Mvskoke language event coming up. So if anybody's interested in coming to that, that's why I put that on there. Those of you who are in Oklahoma or in the area, that is available. All right. Okay, here's another one from Mvhayv Barnett. Like I said, I wanted just to show you guys things. I didn't know how long it would take for me to go through these. So I've got more than we had time for. But like I said, I just wanted to share some of the resources out there that are available to you guys. Let's see. Let's go ahead, and this is a new one that I had made up. And this is the one that Mahia Stephen had sung the other day when he was in here. So I got the words from him. He sent them to me, but I have what go long singing it. So we can sing it with him. And you can hear how soulful and how powerful the words are. And part of the power is he's going slow. He's going slow and feeling every single letter out. And you can just hear the strength in the song. If you see like the one that we normally sing right here, Hallelujah, there are also different versions of that. And it just depends on what you're feeling at that time, just like a pianist. You know, sometimes you can hear them, you know, playing something and you know what kind of mood they're in. And sometimes they're like, you know, I got to do this and let me just play this. And you know that there's like not emotion into it. And then other times they're like, you know, really pounding on the keys. That's the same thing with our languages. You know, it's got different sounds. Like I've heard another Hallelujah. I was going to download it, but I didn't have time. So you can see the differences in just the song. But this is the one we're going to sing. I know it's kind of long, but it really awakens your Mvhayv, your soul. It really puts that power and the energy in. And I sing this every morning when I get here because it just helps me feel good. And I know they were saying the story behind it is this was sung on the trail and it was helping each other keep going, you know, don't give up. And some people, when you say the trail, people just think sad things, but they kept themselves going through our words, through our language, through motivation. Keep going, keep going. So let's go ahead and sing this one. All right. You guys feel that strength and the power in the Mvskoke words? That's awesome. You can just feel it vibrating when you're singing. And that, like I said, I do that every morning. And what Mvhayv Stephen said is he was told when you sing that, you're supposed to face east. So, but I'm facing east, so I got it. But you know, that I can feel the strength in that. And that gets me going in the morning because it says, don't give up, you know, they've gone on, but keep on going. So I get excited about that one. All right, here's our YouTube page for the Mvskoke Okanaga. And I don't know, those of you who have never been here, this is what it looks like. You see Mvhayv Barnett's classes. You see my classes, and you see what dates. And for those of you who've been with the program for a while, there's some older ones down here, and I've watched them to learn just how other speakers have taught, Mvhayv Desiray. I didn't get to know him, but I've seen his videos, so it was really helpful. And you see also he has some there, and you see Mvhayv Stephen, and you see Mvhayv Carolyn on here as well. But I wanted to show you what is out there so you can see, and you can go through and see Mvhayv Carolyn McNack, and you see Mvhayv Stephen up there. But I wanted to show you guys that they are still on here. And if there was something somebody taught you, or even if you're just curious to see how other people have taught in the past, it's up there. And you have access to that. It's on our YouTube channel. And I didn't know about TikTok, and like I said, that's kind of up in the air nowadays, but I guess they have a TikTok. I was told it hasn't been updated in a while, so they're looking at updating that. All right, and let's see. Let me show you a little bit that we have on our Instagram. I don't know how many people have been on Instagram, but you see that they put right here, the Mvskoke language class. They put their announcements on there. And this is one of the things I made right here. So I made sure that I got the first speakers to speak some words because I've been tasked to do word of the day. And I was trying to figure out how I wanted to do word of the day. I didn't want to repeat like some other people put out flowers, spring. And I didn't want to just give you something that's already out there. So you see right here,
Kayıda.
and I'm trying to use our own native people in these postings, because if we're trying to reach Mvskoke people, shouldn't we be looking at Mvskoke pictures? Now, I do say this one,
İganın.
that one is from South Dakota, but it was a pretty picture in Egana, you know, land, earth. And you see that Mvhayv Jordan, she posts the days right here, and she has, I think she has a speaker. So if you don't know how to say things, that they're on here. I think it was every day she had somebody say something different. So if you're on day 6, so that is something that I thought was cool, because I know numbers and words of the day are not that easy to remember. But if you have something like this that you have access to, and for some reason, and I don't know why, we use Canva, but for some reason, it looks like there's nothing there. Just tap on it. So, yeah, and I don't know why it just shows a blank screen. And I will show you at the end. I will show you at the end what all of these things have in common. So we are getting to a place, but I just wanted to show you these. So you see the word, you see the image to go with the word, and you hear the speaker speaking it. So you know how it's supposed to sound. And like I said, there's a reason for all these. Okay, I don't know. And there, you see the image was beads. I didn't have an image for several, so I threw all these beads on there because my daughter beads, native, you know, thinking. So these, like I said, these are things that are out there. And you see that I'm trying to use all of the speakers, so they all have their voices out there.
Amiga,
This was fun. I like making this. Like I said, there is a method to my madness, so we're getting there.
Abaladida.
All right, it looks like we're coming close to the end here.
Dotka. Higher. Dotka. Higher. Dotka. Higher. Infamiti. Odor. Infamiti. Odor.
And like I said, we're coming close to the end here. And you can tell which Mvhayv is saying which one. And you can tell just on their voice, their differences. You know, his, this is the story behind when I was talking to Mvhayv Stephen. And I asked him to say the words. He was sitting there reading his Bible. And he was reading it in Mvskoke. He said that's how he learned, was reading the Mvskoke Bible to learn how to speak and read. And I thought that was cool. So when I approached him to say these words, he was actually reading the Bible. And you can hear in his voice, just on something like this, how soulful and how rich And some of these, the speakers, I'm just trying to catch them in passing it before, because they're in and out, they're teaching at all these schools. So sometimes they're rushed, but when they take the time, and he was just sitting there, reading, you can tell a difference, almost hear the mindset that they're in when they're speaking the words. And I thought that was cool.
I need changing it. Mvskoke.
E.G.
All right, so the method to my madness, the reason I'm sharing that with you is I was tasked, like I said, for every day I was supposed to write word of the day. And this is what I was writing. I didn't get to type it up so big and everything, but this is what I was writing. All of these highlighted words were the words of the day. And so the words of the day are actually our version of the tobacco story told by Jackson Lewis. There are many different versions of the tobacco story, but this was the one that I thought, was worthy to share. So you can see some of the words. You see tobacco, you see seeds, you see leaves, you see caring, cultivating, weed, seeded, ground. You see all of these words in the words of the day. So I'll read this to you. You guys could probably read it, but I'll read it to you. The version of tobacco story told by Jackson Lewis. A man was courting a woman, and they were seated on the ground at a certain place. Sometime afterwards, the man came back to the spot and saw a small weed growing up, just where the woman had been sitting. He went several times until the weed got to be of some height. Now he began to care for it. When it was about a foot high, he took off some leaves and smelt them, and they smelled good to him. And the others he would throw into the fire, finding the odor they gave forth burning, very agreeable. He cultivated this plant until it gave forth seed. Tobacco was gotten in this manner, and since this man and woman were very happy when they were there, and they were very peacefully inclined towards each other, tobacco had ever since been used in concluding peace and friendship among the Indian tribes. So, all right. Oh, okay. So Jackson Lewis is April's great grandfather. And I thank you for the Meadows. But this is my vision of helping us to learn. These are words, a lot of them are words that we would never hear, or seldom hear. So I'm trying to look for another story for April, which I know is Easter and all that, but I want to bypass that, and I want to share Mvskoke culture in the month. So if anybody has any questions, just ask me questions. Anybody got any comments? We're getting close to the end of our hour. Also, if you guys have any ideas, say that there's something certain you're looking for, just let us know. Go ahead.
Yeah. Years ago, when my children were babies, I took each one of them and started reading to them when they were babies, and so by the time they got to school, they already knew how to read. But I also found that the teachers were teaching them to read by sight reading, they called it, I think, at that time. And so when I found that out, and I thought, no, I think mine need to learn phonetics. So I would sit with them and read their stories and help them phonetically with the stories. And I had one son that was just a phonetic learner, where the others could do sight reading. And but anyway, the daughter, we were at home, and my sister had a story about a bear, and I could hear her. And this is talking about, she was like 5 or 6 when we were at home with my mother, and so my sister had this book, and I could hear her reading it, and I thought, they used to speak Mvskoke when they were younger, but when, like they said, we forgot when we met white people. And anyway, she said she was reading, and I thought, who's she talking to? And so I went in there and she was looking at the book and reading it phonetically. And so that story, I guess, was written phonetically. It's been a while. Well, I guess a while. It's been like 50 years. But anyway, she was reading it, and I thought, oh my gosh, and because she normally didn't, at that point in her life, didn't speak Mvskoke anymore, and so they were using English because they were in school, like kindergarten, first grade at that time. So, thank you for letting me share.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing. I always love to hear your stories and anything you guys have to say, we just love to hear. And like I said, if you guys have any input or any kind of suggestions, just call our number and just let them know what your suggestion is. Say if you wanted to hear, and thankfully I found the Lord's Prayer, in Mvskoke. I also, when I was digging through everything, I found Brown Bear in Mvskoke, which is a child's book. And there's so many things out there. But if you guys have a request or anything, send it forward to our office and we can look at, doing something else that maybe we overlooked, or maybe somebody doesn't quite know that story, but somebody else does. So we're all open to suggestions and everything. And like I said, we're just trying to reach everybody with our Mvskoke language. Because it is dwindling. And those of you guys who live on the East Coast or the West Coast, if you guys get a Facebook together and you guys speak or just, try to learn together, just let me know and we can post your little Facebook groups here. Because one of the things about learning is you have to keep practicing. And I know it gets kind of lonely when you don't have anybody to practice with. But just, maybe you can go over some of these words because you can hear the Mvhayv speaking it. And maybe you can just do like a matching, what does this word to what is the meaning? Just, like I said, I'm all about playing games because that keeps you interested and keeps you in the Mvskoke mindset. So let me go ahead and say, Hadam Chicha, please. I'm glad everybody came. You guys now know. Go ahead.
Real quick, is there a link to, you shared the tobacco story, where is that saved?
This is on our Google Drive.
Okay.
Okay, and I think, yeah, you can see it right here. That's our address for this Google Drive. I had made a special folder for this one today. I didn't realize that Mvhayv Barnett was going to be out, and I was in the middle of doing my lessons, which is completely different than this. So I wanted to make it a little fun today, but it's right there in the Google Drive, and it should be the 28th of March folder. And all of this that you see right here is in there. Like I said, I wanted to share this with you guys to show you that there are things out there you can refer back to, and there's the Mvskoke tobacco story.
Okay, Mado.
Right, Inga. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed a different day today than, just learning. Sometimes you have to step away, take a little bit of a break, sing, and just, refresh. So until, I think Mvhayv Barnett should be back at the next class. And so I guess she'll see you then. You guys have a good day. Hadam Chicha.
Mado.
Mado. Adam Chihichafis.